withdrawing our energies from all of our distant projects. We've been pulling in our resources that we had scattered in many locations. We closed our school in Avon Park. We cleared out our mobile home and properties that we had in Frostproof. Our home and lifetime of belongings in Winter Park, we have cleared them out. They're on the market. And we came to Tampa 2 years ago to begin a process of building a business and starting on this retreat center. As I prepared the notes and all for this, I found out that June 19th apparently is an important day for me. In 1988, June 19th, I was at the pits of life. I didn't care if I breathed another breath or not. I wrote a letter to Spirit saying, this is all the great and grandiose things that I want in life. Within 1 year, I had everything that I had written on that list, including my wife, who I met 4 days later. And she was brought to me just as I requested on the letter. And June 19th of 2007, remember we record everything, so I just did a quick search to say, what did I do on June 19th? We had a meeting with Spirit, and we were discussing the 10 greatest things that I wanted to accomplish in life. On that day was a meeting. June the 19th of 2013, we defined our center that we just talked about today for the first time. The buildings and some of the layout, the ideas and hopes and dreams of what it could be. June 19th of 2014, we were loading a U-Haul truck in Orlando and moving here to Tampa for one of our big final moves. June the 19th of 2015, we spoke through channeling with Moses and Aaron, and they were telling us about the Exodus and the big change that it was going to make on the world from that day on in their viewpoint. June 19th, 2016, I wrote another letter to Spirit about the center and the other things that I hope to accomplish in life. So June 19th is a day of beginnings for me, or it's pretty interesting anyway. So the retreat center is en route. Steps have already been taken and more are being completed as we go on. In the meantime, we continue to develop classes and workshops designed to empower the individual. This is all about the individual. It's no longer about me. I'm going to do whatever I do. This is about people and helping people, especially younger people, that don't have to go through everything we did, but they need to know a whole lot more than we did in order to survive in this world and keep their spirituality intact. The U Council is a 3-hour workshop. The purpose of the U Council is to give you the spiritual support that you need to succeed in completing your mission while you're still physical, not waiting for just development of the soul or of the spirit. This is for your physical success, health, well-being, and everything else, and it works. This is a non-judgmental resource that will help you regardless of your belief systems. They will assist you in your personal endeavors, including health, job, home, love life, anything you need. They're there to help. That class is typically around $25, takes about 3 hours. It's a one-time class, and it will benefit you from that point on. And we get a lot of feedback from it. We also have a website that totally supports anyone who has taken that class. Once you join up, it's free, and everything you learn in the class is also on the website. And we have forums, we have other members that are sharing what's going on. As that site grows, the community is growing. And it's totally dedicated just to the U Council project. The second program that I have that I want to mention a little bit about today is called the Ladder Program. The Ladder Program started off as a way of mapping the individual's soul. We did it ourselves over 25 years ago. We started this process. Going through past lives, finding the significant life streams that were here on this planet. What did they do? What were their lessons? What were the cycles they lived? And then as you look at your past lives, you begin to see a series of cycles. You begin to find a number of lifetimes that are very similar to what you're doing, but you can begin to see a purpose. You begin to see that they seem to come through at particular periods in time. They seem to be focused on accomplishing certain things. Becoming aware of that, it helps you to see where your life is probably heading in a similar direction and how you can make the best use of it. It became a lot more than that, because as we started doing it, we started finding out that as we connect with our past life streams, we're also connecting with your own higher self. In the class, we discuss how the higher self generates life streams. It's not like we live, we die, we go to spirit, we take off these clothes, and I'm not going to be King Arthur again. Well, I'm here to prove I am back. But that's not the way that we see reincarnation. Your higher self generates life streams. You yourself can carry your conscious awareness of who you are for eternity. You're an eternal being. The higher self generates life streams, and you can connect to all of them, past, present, and future, because at the position of where the higher self sits, there is no time. All life streams are concurrently now. Your higher self can have one life stream on the planet at one time, or hundreds. Every higher self is different in the way that they choose to do things. As we began to work with this, we started getting connections from higher selves through our channel, and messages coming back that as people were taking the latter class and were beginning to send energy to their other life streams by becoming aware, and energy back to their higher self by connecting these together, you build your own personal energy, because you're pulling that knowledge and that wisdom and that power, you're pulling it into your own life stream to share. The higher self then becomes aware that, hey, something down here is happening. It can feel that energy coming back. And now it starts to pay more attention. Has anyone ever heard the phrase about the squeaky wheel? It's the one that gets all the grease. Becoming the squeaky wheel with spirit can be a good thing. Not always. I've been on the other end. There's some things that we don't want to talk about. But that is one of them. The latter class also helps to look at your life and say, what issues are you dealing with now? And in a minute, I'll cover just a little bit of that, because Sarah's here now. She wasn't here when I started.
You want to sit here?
But we also cover what kind of personal issues are we dealing with as a human race. And we cover some of those in class and discuss them as well, and changes that can be made. The class time for that is once a month. It starts at 7 to 9, and it's the third Wednesday of each month. If a person wants to sample a past life regression, we do a group regression at every class. That is an excellent way, an affordable way to sample what is it like to have a past life regression. It's minor. It is not the same as a one-on-one where we're going after an issue, and it's a lot more complex. That class is $35. It is a 2-hour class. A 24-hour pre-registration is required, and the seating is limited, minimum of 3, but no more than 15, because we do work one-on-one as well. We will have a presentation and discussion with clarifications of questions and answers. We will have a past life regression at each group. And we will have a form that you will fill out that you're given permission to do this past life regression. Now I'm going to talk to you about past life regression a little bit. A past life regression is seen by some, like we just said. Everybody sees reincarnation. Everybody sees it different. Everybody has their own idea of what it is and how it works. As I said before, we see this a little bit different. We do not see it that you are ever coming back. And if you'll think about it, if you're going to come back, how are psychic mediums being a medium? They're talking to people that crossed over. If those people are just going to flip their clothes off, and after the party, they're going to put a different set of clothes and come back, then they're going to lose the people they're talking to.
Shoot, is heaven in Ybor City?
As we begin to see, there's a whole lot more that goes on in spirit than what we're giving credit. And spirit is not always as uniformly perfected in the way that they do things either. Has anybody ever heard the phrase, as above, so below?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Does it mean that we are so perfectly organized on this planet that when we go to spirit, we're going to remain perfectly organized? Or does it mean that if we're struggling and challenging and trying to figure out what we're doing from one day to the next, that maybe spirit has a few challenges as well? That you're not going to be a perfect being when you leave. So, my Uncle Harry had a third-grade education, was a wino. Us kids loved him. Adults could not stand him. But he was a cool guy, as long as he wasn't too smooth. But he's still Uncle Harry in spirit. He did not become Jesus. He did not become Mahatma Gandhi or anybody else. He is still my Uncle Harry, and he probably still has a third-grade education, even though he has had opportunities to expand his awareness. It's up to him whether he did or not. What you experience in a past life regression is up to you and your higher self. I cannot sit here and lead you with a regression and say this is what's going to happen. Every time I do a regression, I am amazed at what happens. I see things take place, and from my very pragmatic understanding, I have certain thoughts, well, this can happen, and this can happen, and this can happen. And then what happens is just totally mind-boggling. It is so cool. It is so neat. These people experience this life-changing events that changes their life forever. A 17-year-old male, a nephew as a matter of fact, wears camouflage, bayonet, combat boots, and you probably know the attitude of the 17-year-old. If it's not all black and gothic, it's camouflage with the bayonet, the bad attitude stuff. So my daughter had a sleepover. She was about 15. Her girlfriends come over. We said, okay, we're going to do a little imaginary journey, is all they knew. Nothing about past lives. Don't tell them nothing. All the girls were in for it. He said, man, this is crap. This is crazy. I said, well, Bob, how about just sitting in the chair over there and make yourself comfortable, and let's just see what happens. Let the girls enjoy it. You don't have to. I know you're not into it. Well, it took about 20 minutes. Did a little group regression, took them down, brought them back, turned the lights on. And 17-year-old bad boy Bobby is over there bawling. The girls are all sitting up, and they're all looking at him, totally serious. Now, 14, 15-year-old girls are always snickering, giggling, laughing, everything else. None of that was going on. They were serious. Bobby sits there, and I said, Bobby, you all right? Yeah. I said, you want to talk about it? He says, yeah. I said, what? Man, this stuff is real. I said, well, what happened? He said, I was there, and you said, look at my shoes, and I was in dust so thick I could kick it, and I had pieces of rawhide wrapped around my feet and tied together for shoes. And then I looked, and I'm behind a mule, and I have a plow, and I got the reins up over my neck. And I'm 16 years old because later you said, go to your 16th birthday, what are you doing? I'm plowing the field. And then later you said, go to the day of your death. I'm 16 and I'm out plowing the field. I said, well, what happened? He said, well, me and my mom had just had a big fight. And I had the same mom then that I have now. And I finally just left the house. I went out to plow the field. and I'm just plowing the field, and I hear my mama scream. We lived in a little sod house